Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Open Creative with myself, Nello. We are blessed today to be sitting across from the man, the myth, the legend, Steve Eggs, head of design. How are we, Steve?
Yeah, not bad today.
Second outing,
I'm back.
second part of the rodeo. How you feeling?
Yeah, I'm all right. I'm
Not too
good.
bad,
I'm
not too
good
bad.
today.
For us, this is weird because we're the creatives. We're behind the scenes. We don't usually do this part, I guess. So
Yeah,
it's a bit
just
of a
behind a computer screen, looking at pretty pictures.
and
But
that's
yeah,
it. Yeah. So today we're going to talk about the sort of the creative process and how we stay inspired in that. There's no better man really to talk about that than Steve. So
we'll see about that.
we hope so. Kick us off with tell us sort of what is your process when you get a job land on your desk. You know, you've got a project that's just come up.
Yeah.
What is your process? Where do you start? Where do you take that?
Generally, I kind of start with asking how long have I got to do it, because the big thing with creative process is it doesn't just happen immediately. There's always ideas kind of kicking about, but it's not an immediate switch that you can turn on and just suddenly be
Start
creative.
creating.
So normally panic sets in of you've literally got 2 days to create a whole brand, which is great.
2 days
But
is a good time to be fair.
yeah, that's a good time then. So normally I kind of read the brief, go away, and generally just go and get inspired by looking generally online first. These days is kind of the easiest thing. So websites like Pinterest and Behance and things like that have got loads of kind of creative ideas out there.
Yeah.
Using those to generally create an idea. Normally when a brief comes in, I've got an idea of where I want to take it, or the client's kind of said, "Oh, we like this, we like that, we want to be smart, we want to be fun, we want to be something." So it kind of, you've already got a starting point.
Yeah.
And then just gathering inspiration, and then generally going away from a laptop or a computer, and doodling sketches, although I do that digitally.
Yeah, it's still
on an iPad. Moved away from paper altogether.
It's the evolution. It's the evolution of life,
and then sort of start sketching. You write the company name down in 5 different ways and things like that, and that generally then naturally goes on to spark another idea, and then you take that idea slightly further, and things like that. But it doesn't always work out.
I was about to ask, is that a tried and tested method that goes, or is it obviously there's curveballs along the way, so there must be a...
Yeah, it depends on how good the idea is. So a lot of what we do, especially at Sarners and Jay, is we really like to understand the client.
Yeah.
And what they're about, not just from the brief. So a brief is one thing. A client will tell you, we want a new brand, we do this and this, and we want to look smart. That's fine. But actually, what's the business about? What the people are about? How's the business run? How does it, where do you want to, be in 5 years? Really sort of understanding the why behind the rebrand or the company itself.
Yeah.
That always then gives me loads more sort of ideas for creativity. So they want to be seen as, top level precision engineering or something like that. So you think of precision, you then think of angles and things like that. So you start looking at maybe different things. And also there's always, the potential that it just doesn't work. A recent project especially, literally completely blank mind, had no kind of ideas of where to start, where to go. Scrolling through websites, Pinterest, flicking through books,
Hoping to grab
just
something out.
head in the hands, kind of like, what am I going to do with this
doing?
one? Even to the point I didn't know even what color I wanted to kind of it to
Literally
look
a
like,
a blank space that you couldn't fill at a point.
and then all of a sudden one idea sparked another idea, and then you get going. But you do get those times where you can't be creative, and I think that's a big thing, especially working at Sarners and Jay, is that I can take the afternoon off, go for a walk, get my head out of it, because sometimes
Stepping
away from it. And I think the same with sort of you and videography.
Yeah.
You also then don't want everything to start looking the same or being the same sort of camp. You need that time away from the brief, so to speak, to then
to get that fresh perspective of
yeah
you can look at other things, and it is so true. Because for context, I'm the content creator, so I do a lot of the photos and videos for any project that we're running. So we go hand in hand in some ways in terms of the creative process. So I'm pretty, and I think that's one thing when I first joined the company, I would say we gelled very quickly because I think we're very similar in the way we process things and the way we, go about our general processes. So I'm very similar to you. I find it's very tough to take a project and try and keep it fresh without having the time away from it. I think when you're too engrossed in it and all you're trying to do is almost force that, it becomes very like, well, I've got to do it, so I'm just going to regurgitate something else. So actually taking the time just to step back and go, no, I don't want to repeat what I've done. I want a fresh look on it. So yeah, it's a definite, a very important thing to take that step. So which leads us actually quite nicely onto the next segment, which is what I wanted to ask you is how do you keep things fresh? How do you keep that creative sort of juice flowing where it's, because for us, we do a lot of projects in one go. So it can be very easy for us to go, actually, do you know what? We'll just copy and paste, and we'll do exactly the same. But we don't. We take our time to look at the company, like you said, we look at the company, the individual, and we try and make it personal to them. But how do you keep that going? Because in a week, in 1 week, you could be working on 5 to 10 to 20 projects.
Yeah, well,
what do you do?
Not that many. I think I'd have a breakdown.
I was
20,
say,
but yeah,
if it was any more than that,
between 5
but
different
yeah,
things.
yeah.
But yeah, keeping it
keep it fresh.
sort of,
And how do you do that? How do you?
I think that it goes back to the kind of repeating the process and making sure that you're not jumping from one to the other too quickly either, segmenting like proper time to go, right, I'm going to spend a few hours on this. Obviously, if it's not really working, then definitely flick to another project. In that sense that some projects can influence ideas into another project. You might have an idea and think, oh, that's really nice, but actually that'll work
Doesn't
better
work for that person,
for that client. And, you kind of park it or you go and work on that. So it's having the kind of segmenting it in your head that it's not all the same, but being aware, I think, of all the other projects that you got going on, so that there is that difference, and you're kind of about that idea is good, and things like that, and that time away just always
massive, I guess.
Just like even just walking around the office, going to make another coffee, listening to a bit of music for focus or something like that, just to kind of zone out and then zone back,
press that reset and then go back
and just going to look at something completely different. So I think I got you onto Behance in terms of rabbit holes and looking at creativity and videos and things like that. But even for me, looking at other industries and other areas of creativity, not just graphic design, I think really can help that kind of segmenting, like your different briefs and your different clients, things like that.
Yeah, I must admit, Behance has been my latest addiction. So yeah, Steve did put me. You put me onto that. And so again, for context, if you don't know what Behance is, you might be listening to this as a creative. You definitely need to go onto it. So it's, I guess, the best way I can describe it is a sort of social platform, or a platform where creatives just share their work, share their processes, share everything. And it's really nice because you get templates and things that you can also use in your work. So it's just I guess a place for creatives to come and be creative. So yeah, I think the minute you put me onto that, it was a game changer, because again, it's like I say, it's very easy sometimes for people to think we get the brief and we just go, because that's what they think, like how we.
Well, it's our job
it's our job to be creative and do what we're told. Not told what to do, but just this is what we need to get done to do it. But actually, the creative process, and this is just my theory, a creative process doesn't just click and it's done. It's the person behind it has to be in the right place. So do you ever find that there's a time where you genuinely go, do you know what, like you said earlier, I don't know what to do with this, and how do you get yourself out of that? What's the process of, I've got a blank slate here and my mind's not there mentally, physically, emotionally, I'm not ready to begin this. What would you say, or what would be your advice to someone who's maybe a new person in creative, getting into those situations? What would be your way to get out of them?
I think firstly, don't panic. As a creative, there is always something in the back of your mind that you just haven't discovered yet, or you will definitely come up with an idea eventually at some point. So yeah, definitely don't panic. But I think going back to, depends on how you got into creativity. Myself, I did an art degree, so wasn't even graphic design sort of led, and that kind of process of how I used to create art, and just ideas coming and creating them, and some of them not working. I think one of the things that I was taught, which is a brilliant lesson, is to just do. Okay. So sometimes you might not be working, your ideas might not be there, but just go away and doodle and sketch, and you know, it might not be linked to that project or that idea or something like that, but go away and just be creative in some
whatever context,
you know, or help another creative colleague if they're working on something, you know, work next to them and, oh, have you thought about this, have you seen this and just, you know, getting yourself back into a creative mindset and flow will naturally then sort of help you go, oh, that's a good idea or whatever. And then, but don't, you know, if you're sitting there and nothing's happening,
don't force it.
Don't force it. Just walk away from it and get back into your kind of your creative zen, or so to speak. Which is a place, I have to say. There are times when I can't be creative at all. And you know, a few hours will pass in the office, and I've, you know, moved a pixel around the page, and it's like, oh, what am I doing? And then, you know, half an hour later, and I've got a full website design. I'm like, oh, brilliant, that kind of worked. And you get into those zones, and it's difficult to switch it on. But as a creative, no matter where you've come from creatively, it's there. It's in the back of you.
It will come full circle.
It's the way our brains work. I mean, half of my brain doesn't work. I can't read all right, but I can draw.
That's what I said to you. I think the other day we were trying to find I think we were writing some description for, I think maybe you had watched one of the podcasts, and I was trying my hardest. I had to get Jenna to help me out because I literally said, give me a camera or I'll take photo and I'll do a video, but give me something to write. I can't do it. And I just want to touch on what you were saying, actually taking yourself out of the, you know, when you've got a project and taking yourself out of it and just surround yourself with other creative things actually really helps. Because like for me, for example, I found that, you know, I'm a massive YouTube fan. I love my YouTube, and I got into a bit of a bad habit where I was watching YouTube just rubbish, like just stupid, silly videos that didn't mean anything. They were just
like my kids do all the time.
Pretty much same sort of thing. But actually, you know, there's a couple of YouTubers who are like photographers. So like Peter McKinnon for me is a massive inspiration. Finding myself actually, I will sit there sometimes and just reel off a load of his videos. Don't know what it is, but like you're saying, there is that thing inside of you that when you are watching other creatives create, it inspires you to get back into that. So for me, I'm very similar in that sense that once I start surrounding myself again with the creative process beyond Behance or YouTube and watching people create, I don't know, like you say, it's something inside you naturally sparks, and then you go, I feel a bit more alive, and I feel back to be able to create whatever I need to. So yeah, definitely surround yourself with, you know, online content, but even other people, like especially for us in the office, sometimes we vibe, I think anyway, back and forth when, you know, not on projects necessarily, but just that creative, you know, you'll show me a post and be like, look at this photo, and I'll, you know, show you like a video or a, you know, a website, and I say, oh, that's really nice. And I think being in a place with other people who are creative definitely helps you to get back into that.
And just to add to that as well, not only talking to other creatives, but everyone else in the workplace.
Oh yeah,
no, but it just often. So if you are stuck or whatever, go back to the brief, look through it, look back through your notes, and you know, getting back to that why, and you may pick up on something else that may spark another idea. But also asking, you know, other people in the workplace or from the company, the client itself, you know, their perspective then gives you a different perspective, and you go, oh yeah, I didn't even see it that way, or I didn't think of it that way, and that then can potentially guide you on a different path.
Definitely.
Sometimes you have too many ideas and things. You try and rein them in, or or you're like, oh, we're really good at this, and it's not quite on brief. But yeah, there's definitely asking other creatives, surround yourself with that, but also getting other people's perspective, because at the end of the day, as a creative, you only ever really look at things creatively, whereas you know, a lot of the public or the client or whoever's going to be seeing your work, watching a video or whatever, sees it through their eyes, and that's obviously completely different. And you know, I may move something a millimeter on the page and think it looks perfect. No one's ever going to know that. As long as it's it's fine. But that's the OCD that comes in.
Yeah, that we both have, especially when. I mean, I know you're similar to me again. When I, you know, do a video and we put a little, I don't know, someone will ask, oh, can you just put a logo in the bottom corner? And similar to you, you hate it. I hate it. I can't lie, but we do it because again, it's part of it. But we do it in our own little tweaky way. But to finish off this lovely chat, is there any quirky sort of rituals or things you do when you're creating? Do you have like a playlist?
Start
Or
off by doing 10 star jumps,
getting
balancing
the
on my head,
blood flowing a little bit?
No, definitely music for me. Like,
Yeah.
get the noise cancelling headphones on, zone
Shut the
out.
world up.
Generally, probably bad music, a little bit hardcore drum and bass. No offense to any drum and bass fans out there.
Yeah.
But or proper hardcore loud music.
Really?
Which, yeah. Oh, any
Just as loud as you can
as
get it.
loud as you can.
Fair
Yeah.
It's funny 'cause
heavy metal basically, or drum and bass. Anything really hard and fast, and I like it.
Just gets
kind
you
of
going.
switches my brain on.
It's funny because I sit
Which
across
is
from you and I
weird.
can't hear it. That's how good your noise cancellation
Yeah.
must be because I can't hear that.
But I'm just
I
doing this.
Yeah, I just look across and Steve's bobbing his head. And, so would you say
Just
music?
scrolling on Pinterest.
Yeah.
I'll get there. I'll get there eventually.
Yeah, something will pop up. So would you say that music is that almost the muse to get you going?
Music
and
for me, definitely.
is the ritual.
Yeah.
Cool. Lovely stuff. Well, thank you for taking this time to share a
Pleasure.
little bit of your creative process. Hopefully, if you are watching or listening, you've been inspired a little bit by Steve's process. I definitely think I've been just from the time I've worked with you. So definitely take some notes from that. As always, subscribe on the channel, follow us on all streaming sites, and yeah, we'll be back hopefully with
Links at
another.
the bottom.
Yeah, we'll have little links in
scrolling
the
across the bottom of the
comment.
page.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
the old
logo in the
school.
bottom corner.
Not in the bottom corner. But yeah, we'll be back anyway. Hopefully with some more of Steve anyway in the short future. Thank you.
Bye.